characters. Now, characters are, let's face it, without them we don't have a story, right? Because the characters are the ones performing all the action and doing all the cool stuff and making things exciting. So, to generate character ideas quickly, there are several things you can do. First, look at things like personality types. You can do the more intensive Myers-Briggs type stuff if you really want to, but you don't need to. You know, do you want a character who is outgoing and flamboyant, or do you want a character who's quiet and retiring? Do you want a combination? Someone whose, you know, personality is very quiet, but his expression of himself and how he dresses and the places he enjoys going, maybe all that stuff is rather flamboyant. And that's another thing to consider. How can you make them quirky? Everybody has, we all have quirks. Everybody has a quirk. Everybody. We all have them. What those quirks are what make us interesting and different. And there's parts of everybody that is really inconsistent with the rest of us. You know, you may have someone who just only listens to classical music, but man, they love George Strait. They don't let anyone know it maybe, but they love George Strait. Why? Because there's just something about George Strait, and I'm trying not to laugh here. But, you know, whatever it is, we all have that little inconsistency that it's a quirk. It makes us interesting. It makes us, you know, unique. And so even within those personality traits, you know, are you an optimist? Is this character an optimist? Is he a pessimist? Is he just rather ambivalent, you know? Or is he someone kind of like me who says, why does it have to be half full or empty? There's a glass, there's water. If we need more, we keep filling. You know, I mean, there are so many types of things like that you can look at, you know, just how educated is he or she? Do you know? You don't know? Okay. You don't have to know. It doesn't matter. Not up front. Eventually you'll need to know, but if that's not helping you generate a character idea, move on. You can use the personality quirks and traits to get you going, but if they aren't helping, move along. What characters do you like to read about? Okay, how can you make your character similar and totally different at the same time? Do you like characters who do you like spunky females? Well, maybe you need to write a spunky female. Maybe you always write a spunky female. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Write a spunky female. Make her different somehow. Make her spunky because she's insecure this time. How often do we see that? We don't see it as much as I often think that there's a lot of us who come off rather outgoing and, you know, exciting and, you know, just, you know, the life of the party, and we're inside, we're dying going, oh, is this over yet? You know, because it's not our personality, it's how we cope with the fact that otherwise we would be, you know, suffering in the corner with a thumb in our mouth, right? So write that character. Write you. If you were who you would be. If you could be anything, if, you know, you've always wanted to be able to sing, well, write a singer. I don't care that you can't carry a tune in the bucket. Write a singer. At least you can live that. You know, you can experience that. Write you as you would be if you designed you. And then just remember to thank the Lord for the fact that He designed you the way He wanted you. But that's what fiction is about. It's about exploring the unreal. So write you as someone else. Write you as others see you. Maybe people think that you're this really strong, you know, powerful person and you aren't. Or maybe they see you as weak. They have no clue how strong you are. Write that character. There are so many different ways that you can take characters and really just pull different bits from different things. Who do you admire in your life? Is there someone that you've always looked up to historically, in your family, in your church, when you were a little child? Who have you admired? Write that person. Write them as just an average Joe. Maybe you just think that Teddy Roosevelt was the greatest guy in the world. You just think he's awesome, and you want to write Teddy Roosevelt, but you don't want to write historical. You don't want to make him male protagonist. Who cares? Make Teddy Roosevelt a female today. That would be fun. Actually, I'm kind of doing that with Cassie almost. A little bit. Anyway, but you know, I mean, just take who you admire and put them in a different setting, put them in a different place, twist it, torture it, Give them some different things. How would Patton have handled being raised in an Amish family? That could get interesting. I mean, how often do we see Amish books where the character is struggling just because of the fact that the non-resistance is the one thing that they can't handle? We always see the peaceful side. We always see that they've been trained into accepting the non-resistance. But what if one just can't take it? What if one has fought it his entire life? What if it's a woman? She's ready to go fight for her country. Oh, I mean, take some of these things that you admire in fiction, in real life, in history, turn them on its head and put them in whatever setting you want them to be. Characters are most interesting when they're unique, when they're relatable. Don't make them over the top, because that's just no fun. And when they're flawed, people need flawed characters. Please don't write a Mary Sue. And so help me, if you guys give me a Mary Sue, I will cry because I can't do it. Actually, that would be a deal breaker. I'd be like, nope, nope, nope. Unless you tell me to take a Mary Sue and do something weird with it, then maybe, might make it happen. But we're not here to write junk. We're here to write good stuff, and quickly, and it can be done. So when you're looking at your character, start thinking about all those things about characters and real people that make them interesting, and figure out which one grabs you most. Because once you have that, it's a lot easier to put them into a different setting or to ask a question about them. Who would Teddy Roosevelt be if he was born today as a woman? Would he be an environmentalist? Would he be, a minimalist? Would he be a world traveler? What would he do? Would he be an activist? Who knows? But if you want to write someone like him with his, affinity for languages and his, absolute love of the outdoors, because as a kid he had asthma and he was dying, there's so much about Teddy Roosevelt that is so super cool that made today as a woman in a different environment, in a different world, what would he be? That sounds cool. Maybe you like historical settings. Well, then what if you took someone from today and put that type of character in a historical setting, but you didn't try to make history fit a modern viewpoint? So if you have someone like, let's say, who's that singer? The singer that wears the really crazy outfits. Lady something, okay? She did a commercial with Tony Bennett at Christmas time last year. She has a really good voice. I had no idea until I heard that commercial. She really made him sound good. I'm not a big Tony Bennett fan. But, okay, that woman, she is really crazy and wild and unique. What if she was born in, say, 1880, and she tried to be herself with the, over-the-top stuff, then without stepping out of historical context? Because so often when we try to put a modern character into a historical book, we make it anachronistic, and that just, don't change modern ideas. Don't take modern ideas and make them fit into a historical thing. It didn't happen. Not every girl was just striving to be independent and free and have the vote and, wanted to be able to be out there with the men and do it. They weren't all like that. That wasn't something they considered. And so, yes, I'm sure there were some, but every single historical book, when I run across them, and sometimes it's one after the other, I get to the point where I throw them aside because it's like, it's different. So take that lady, put her in 1880, make her a performer who has to be her unique and outgoing self and still fit in that time period, and not, because she would not be popular if she were so far different from what they expect from someone that they didn't like her. They want to respect someone, and they don't respect someone who doesn't have respect for convention, right? And so find that balance and see what would happen with her. Take something and make it different. That's a great way to have a really super fabulous character. Okay? So there's character.